counter punch.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Paul Temple, and of course, it's that time of the day where we'll take you through the happenings in sports. On the menu this morning, the AFN President targets better outing at Paris Olympic. Nigeria to host on the 19 volleyball African Nation Cup, and in football, Inter Milan clinches 20th Serie A title. Details of these and many more will be yours from time. Please don't go at this. It's Atlantic Television Network.
Telling him not to counter punch.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it is Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me live is Emmanuel Michael. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning to you, Temple, and good morning to our viewers out there.
All right, we'll quickly start with some Scrabble news this morning. Festival crowned new champion in Ijebu, De Enokwale at Injeta and Pyramid CS. We are signatures of all eyes as the 1 week of Scrabble, the national TV drew to a close yesterday in Ogun State. The 4-in-1 National Scrabble Festival included the Asaf Sadok National Championship, the Federation's annual general meeting, and the NSF Inter-Club Challenge Finals, and the award gala night. Stars of the night was none other than the current African Scrabble champion and winner of the first of the fall event, Asaf Sadok Championship, Enoch Nwali. This is a student of the University of Lagos in health education. So far, his life has really changed because of Scrabble. This is a testament of resilience and determination.
Definitely, Temple, I tell you. And combining education with sport is something that we can't do away without. It has given him an edge over other players out there. And he's the current African champion in terms of scramble. It tells you of his quality. It tells you of what he has done to the continent of Africa. Having conquered Africa, I think his next step right now is to look beyond Africa, how to make an impact in the global stage. But I tell you, Enoch Nwali has been on imperious form so far, since the start of this year, and a clear testament of what he has achieved for himself this year already. So whenever he gets into a competition, especially here in Africa, then he is a signature of eye, just like what we saw, over the weekend in what he did out there. I tell you, he has been very, very impressive. He has been hoisting the flag of Nigeria very high out there in terms of scramble.
First, hoisting the flag of Nigeria very high, and it's lovely to get to see him how he displayed. The Nigerian Scrabble Federation that club challenge title went to Unilag for that particular one, and not very lovely. It looks like a whole lot has transpired in recent time, and I will hope that he will continue to move ahead of that. But then, away from Scrabble now, let's talk about other issues in sports. As across the country, 43 girls from states across the country have started their first phase campaign in Yenagua, Bayelsa State, in order to qualify Nigeria for the softball event at this 2028 Olympic Games. 15-day campaign comes before the second phase scheduled to start in July this year. Softball is not a very known sport, but it looks like Nigeria want to be part of the 2028 Olympic Games.
Yeah, so it's not a known sport here in this part of the climb, but then I think the organizers, they are doing everything possible to ensure that at least they become a force to be reckoned with. I mean, this is the first time in a long while where Nigerian team is preparing ahead of, an event that is still 4 years to come, but they've actually started, perfection right now. It tells you of how serious they are, because I think for me, they want to make an impact there, and that is why they have to start early preparation. 4 years before a major tournament, and we are starting, camping, we are starting, preparation. These things are things that we don't usually, do while we are heading for any major competition. We are always used to this fire brigade kind of thing, where we just wait until the dying minute of any competition before we start running around, circle, running from pillar to pole to ensure that we go out there and get a very good outing. But then I think it has come as I'm around, and the one towards ensuring that some of the players is properly prepared, and that is why they've taken it upon themselves to gather the players that they feel it will be very, very good for this one. About 43 girls drawn from 13 different states, to become the Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital. I think for me, it's a new development, and I hope that they can continue to work with this.
They can continue to work with it, and they said that as part of effort to ensure that Nigeria qualifies and actively participate in the game, stakeholders of the sport have swung into action, one of which is the ongoing fast-pitch softball camping, a program for the 43 girls at the government secondary school to supervise the training program. Officials of the National Fast Pitch Softball are in Bayelsa State capital to oversee proceedings. Now, the secondary school girls are aged 14 to 19, and at least 13 states are being trained by 8 national coaches. Now, my only challenge is this thing will take place in 2028. Isn't it too early, to start this, or is there a timeline? Because we're even yet to go into 2024 Olympic Games. So I'm just wondering, what are the timeline for the qualification for this particular one? Is it that you're trying to build, I don't assume it's just, initial gra-gra as in our local palace.
And you need to start very early to, imbibe this kind of culture on this younger one, because just like you mentioned, they are about 14 years to 19, so they are still very young. So this is the time that we need to tutor them, we need to lecture them on some of the things they need to know at the primary level while waiting for 2028 to come. So these are just the things, not because of the fact that there is a benchmark for the qualifier for the tournament, and that is why they are starting right now. No, that is not it. But they just want to start to let these young, players, and they will be very, very, engulfed with the rudiments of the game, and that makes it very easy for them.
That makes it very easy for them, and but why I applaud their stride in starting very early. I also think that this is how planning for a tournament should be.
Yeah.
If you want to have an intent, if you have an intent and you want it to become a reality, you start early. Softball is not a known sport. But we talked about I think there's something we talked about, some coiling.
Coiling,
that is not peculiar with our system here. But we've seen what we've been able to do in the last 4 or 5 years. And that's for me, coiling is not even at the Olympics, but I feel, okay, I think coiling has its own Olympics, Winter Olympic Games and all that. But I think that what we need to do is, like we said, let's hope that they can achieve this particular one and maybe move on. But away from that, let's talk some taekwondo here. As Olympic officiating Nigeria taekwondo referee, Tozdala and Peter will not be officiating at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Peter made the announcement on social media handle following the selection of 26 referees by the World Taekwondo Referee Body. She revealed that being a part of the selected top 58 referees in the world was an honor and will forever be cherished. Peter applauded the African Taekwondo Union for the support given to her throughout the journey in officiating at the Olympic Games. And this is lovely. Preparation for this one, a lot. But then if this selection have been turned down and you're not part of it, sometimes can be disappointing. But I love the fact that she had to go online and also even express so that the other person don't start counting her as one of them. But in the preliminary selection, if you have 58 officials from the world and you're selected, and Nigerian is selected, that shows that she's good enough, and Africa feels that she has done so well for her to be selected. So I think, give or take, it's a good sign. Maybe if she continues from where she stopped, in 2028 we'll get to see her at the Olympics.
Definitely, it's a win-win situation for her, because I think for her to get that global recognition, it clearly tells you that indeed she truly knows her onions. And of course, taking a look at what she has done within the region of Africa, or the continent of Africa, we definitely say yes, she's endowed. She's had what it takes to be able to, stand tall in the global stage out there, and that is why she has not gone unnoticed. She was part of the 58, officials that were preliminary, touted to be one of the officials, but then she couldn't make the cut out there. But then one thing remains, that for her to be able to get that recognition from the global body, I think it tells you that indeed she truly knows what she's doing. But not making the cut, like I said, it's a win-win situation. But then it has also come as an eye-opener to the world that indeed we have somebody here in the shores of Africa that can also hold her own in terms of the global event. But I think it's quite disappointing somehow, after making the cut, after being part of the 58 members that was touted to be the officiator, but not making in the cut. But I just think that maybe next year, or maybe next Olympics, she might also make the cut, having gotten the recognition this time around. So in all, I think it's a good one for her and a good one for her career. If she continue to put in her best, I tell you, next edition she would definitely be selected as one of the officials, having gotten the recognition she deserves right now.
Having gotten the recognition she deserves, we hope that she will move on to the highest level of maybe officiating at the Olympics. But I mean, no disappointment. It was a trial, and I think she has done so well for herself. Away from that, let's talk some badminton, and this time para badminton. Nigeria para badminton star Mariam Eniola Bolaji has won the women's singles SL3 title at the just concluded Spanish Para Badminton International in 2004 in Vitoria, Spain. The world number 10 overwhelmed the world number 6 Oskana Kozina from Ukraine 2-0 to clinch the gold medal. She won 21-13, 21-8. The president of Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Francis Obi, expressed delight over the latest victory of gold medalist Mariam Eniola Bolaji. Obi said Eniola's performance has been encouraging, adding that she has become a force in world para badminton. He also said that the Federation will do everything within their powers to see that Eniola gets adequate attention, because she stands a better chance of winning a medal for Nigeria, come the Para Olympics this year. And I think this is a lovely encouragement from the Federation president. But let's talk about Eniola's feat in Spain.
For me, I think it's an impressive feat that she put up out there. World number 10, as she stands right now, going out there to defeat the world number 6 is not a mean feat. I think she truly deserves to receive, the honor that is coming her way right now, because courtesy of this victory, I tell you, she's going to even move up the ladder from number 10 right now. Courtesy of this victory, maybe the next ranking, we might possibly see her and, world number 8 or world number 6, who knows. So, but for Eniola, I think she has been very, very, impressive in her performance so far, going all the way to the final and be able to host the world number 6. I think it's an impressive feat, that one that we also need to applaud her, and we also need to give her the needed support, both financially and morally, to ensure that she continues to, keep up this fine form that we've seen of her late. So I think her quality, talking about Eniola, is never in doubt any day, any time. She has already conquered the African region, and now she also making an impact in the global stage. I think it's a good one for the country.
Good one for the country, and of course, a lot of preparation for that particular one, and we hope that she will even do more better. But talking about presidents who are also preparing for the Olympics, the president of the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, Tinubu Kokowa, aims for a better outing for Nigeria athletes at this year's Olympic Games in Paris, as more athletes keep hitting the qualification mark before the window closes on July 1st. At the last edition in Tokyo, Nigeria won just one medal in athletics, a bronze by Esther Brume in the women's long jump event, despite parading 14 athletes, 7 males and 7 females, after 10 others were prevented from competing from missing out on pre-competition doping tests. With over 3 months until the start of the games, Okowa says he expects more athletes to qualify through different continental championship and as well as national trials. Nigerian athletes who have already qualified for the games are okay. Before we go to those who have already qualified, let's talk about his intentions. Okowa said, okay, he's happy, no doubt. Just a few days ago, Udodiri Onwuzurike also qualified, via the competitions at his college and all that. And this is impressive. But my own is how do they? I mean, we need to look at a setup of how they are set up. How many athletes are we expecting? Or any athlete can qualify at their own. If they qualify, they can beat the target qualify. The Athletics Federation of Nigeria are bound to take them to the Olympics. Is this how it's done? Or is there a pattern? Or is there a system to say, okay, these athletes, these are the numbers of athletes, and they have to qualify?
No, the safe standard is that you must meet up the timing of the World Athletic Body, which stand at 22.50 something seconds. I can't really figure out the timing, but it's within that range. If you actually beat that range, then you stand a chance of qualifying. Then don't also forget that we also have our own local competition here that will be made to also take a look at some of the locally based athletes. If they actually meet up that target, if they meet up the mark as well, they will also qualify to join their European counterparts, or rather the athlete that is based at away from the shores of Nigeria, such as Tobia Motion, Nathaniel Bassi, Chukwebuka and Nekwechi, to mention the rest of them. So for me, I think this is a target. It's not about having a limited number. It's about beating the benchmark that have been set by the athletic body. If you actually beat the benchmark, you can file in as many as 20 athletes, 30 athletes. It depends on the capability of the local athletes here. If they can actually meet up the benchmark, then they stand an equal chance with their other counterparts who have made it through. But one thing very, very interesting is about the fact that some of our, athletes who are making waves out there, many of them have made it through. They've gotten the tickets, to the Paris Olympic game. Athletes such as Tobia Motion, Chukwebuka and Nekwechi, Ezekiel Nathaniel, Basirut Usoro, Ese Brume, Favor Ashe, to mention but a few. I think these are some of the Nigerians that have also clinched the ticket for the forthcoming Olympic game out there. And I think I'm very, very pleased. I'm very happy. Happy in the sense that the people that have qualified already, that have picked 1 or 2 tickets, these are some of the athletes that is doing pretty well so far since the start of this season. They've been on an impressive form. So I think if they continue with this impressive form that we've seen of them, definitely Nigeria will have something to cheer home about when the Olympic officially kicks off out there.
When the Olympic officially kicks off out there, we'll get to see. But athletes that have qualified, we have Tobia Motion, women's 100-meter hurdle, Chukwebuka Nekwachi for the shot put event, Ese Brume, women's long jump, Ruth Osoro, women's long jump, Favor Ashe, men's 100-meter, Udodiri Onwuzurike, men's 200-meter, Emmanuel Bamidele, men's 400-meter, Edose Ibadin, men's 800-meter, men's 400-meter hurdles, and Favor Ofili, women's 200-meter. At the Paris Games are the 33rd edition of the games, and of course will be held from July 26th to August 11. If I look at the number of those, athletes that have qualified, they are a handful. They are not. We expect to get to see more. I expect that by now we should have more qualification. But like I said, she said 3 months. 3 months, can we see more athletes qualify?
Sure, we can see more athletes. Like I said earlier, don't forget we still have our own, competition here in the country where we are going to, set a benchmark for the locally based athlete here. And if they actually meet up with the benchmark of the World Athletic Body, they still have a chance, of joining some of the contingent or some of the individuals that have already qualified out there. So for me, I think we still have more of them that are yet to qualify. Some competition are still ongoing, which will serve as a test run, and they're also aiming for some of these athletes to also pass through that medium and get the qualification for the forthcoming Paris Olympic Games. So the ones that are qualified already, we say big congratulations to them, but there are still more to come.
More to come, and of course we hope that more truly will come when the time is due. But still talking about what is happening in other sports, Nigeria has indicated interest to host the 2024 Under-19 Women's Boys and Girls African Beach Volleyball Cup. The president of the Federation, Engineer Musa Nimrod, made the disclosure at the end of this year's President Beach Volleyball Cup in Kaduna during the weekend?
I think for me it's a nice idea trying to host the rest of Africa, but then do we actually have the facilities in place? Are we properly organized? Do we think we can make it worthwhile? It's not just about bidding to host the competition, but it's about having a perfect tournament where the rest of the world will look at and say yes, truly this is a worthwhile competition where because if you have a very poor organization, if you have a very poor facilities, then you are not going to get the attention of the global media, of the global space out there. It's not about rushing to host a major competition, but it's about we gaining something out of it. Can we gain the needed recognition that we truly deserve if we host such a competition? Of course, it will, because it's going to add a whole lot to the economy, because many people, sportsmen and women, will be flying down to the country in different parts of the world, in different parts of Africa. So it gives us that economical edge over other countries. But then, do we actually have what it takes to make it happen? This is what I think Musa Nimrod, who is the president of the federation, should think about, and not about rushing to host a competition such as this. Are we properly prepared? Outside some of this mini competition that is being organized for some of the young players out there, do we actually have what it takes to host the rest of the country and also go out there to make an impact, not just rushing to host a competition where we are not properly prepared?
Of course, and we hope that with what Musa Nimrod has done when it comes to volleyball, we can expect our team to do so well in other competition, and like he has expressed satisfaction in the quality of play exhibited by the young players at the President Cup, and that President Cup truly was one that really lived up to expectation. Getting to see that one in Kaduna was really mind-blowing. We're going to a quick break now. When we come back, of course, we'll bring you more teeth bits from sports. We're not done yet. We have a lot to talk about. We'll talk about what is happening in basketball, and then we'll talk about what is happening in the clay court season ahead of the Roland Garros. Of course, many more to talk here. Don't go anywhere.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring.
All right, welcome back from that break. For those joining us, this is Sports Talk, and it is we are into the second part. But quickly, before we delve into football matters, let's take a look at what has happened, in the playoffs. And of course, you recall that the playing season ended last weekend, Saturday precisely, and from the regular season down to the playing season. From the playing, now we are in the playoffs, and of course, we've seen the big boys, posting maximum point there just to show that in a game of 7 they can come out outstanding, and the likes of Boston Celtic, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunders, they are really doing great things, in the different spheres. And we've seen match day 3, a lot has also transpired from those eras. But before we delve into the matches so far played, because we've seen some play already, 2 games, 2 games over 7, and so it's expected that we'll get to see more, and the winner will get more. The seeded teams are teams that qualified. The first 4 teams that qualified automatically, the first team get to play the last team that qualified, just like that. And we've seen those pairings already, and we begin to know those that will play in. And of course, you know that out of each of the 7 teams, we're going to get semi-finalists. From semi-finals, we'll now have the finalists in each of the conferences, and from the finalists, we'll now have on the 1st of June, we'll now have the finalists in each of the conferences play in the main final of the NBA. We have game 7. The first game 7 will be in March, and then from there we'll get to know who gets to win the Lauren O'Brien trophy. So all this makes for a better outing in the NBA. I tell you, the NBA is fun, and if you have been following the NBA, it's a lot has really happened. So let me start with Michael on some of the happenings. I'm sure you followed the NBA for the playing season, the playoffs and all that. Look at the likes of Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City Thunders, Denver Nuggets, and maybe talk about some of the teams. I'm sure some of the teams have really lived up to expectation. Have we seen any major upset so far?
Not at all, not at all. We've seen some of the big teams also living up to expectation. Teams like Boston Celtics, a traditional side, when you talk about the NBA, I think they've actually lived up to the expectation. In their first game against Miami Heat, they actually toppled Miami Heat with as much as 20-point disparity. It tells you of their quality. Though one might want to say, yes, Miami Heat, they are hit with injuries with some of their key players, like the likes of Jimmy Butler and some of their key players out there, but that is not an excuse, and that is why you have backup players that can always come in and make the difference. But for Boston Celtics, I think they've been very, very good so far this season. Right from the playoff down to this play-in season, I think they've held their own very strong. Then again, the defending champion, talking about Denver Nuggets, they've also been very, very good. As well. They've won their first game very convincingly, and there are some of the big-name players such as Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray also came to the party. In fact, Nikola Jokic put up as a double digit, in that very game. Then again, talking about Milwaukee Bucks, one of the surprising teams for me, but then they are doing excellently well. They'll be very, very good as well. Won their first game, doing pretty well. Oklahoma Cities, yeah. For me, nobody gave them a chance. I didn't even see them coming this far, but then they've actually made it this very far.
They did not even come far. They topped the Western Conference.
Yes.
And that's where you have the defending champion, Denver Nuggets, and you want to begin to wonder, how far they can go.
And from the start of this season, nobody actually gave them a chance to be competing, to be Denver Nuggets and the rest, but they actually pushed Denver Nuggets to the world and even toppled their Western Conference league out there, while Denver Nuggets played the second or third fiddle out there. But then they've continued to show that indeed their performance during the playoff season wasn't a fluke. They've actually taken that from down to the play-in season. So I think it's evenly poised. We see some of the big teams, also living up to expectation. No major upset yet, but we are hopeful that we are going to see 1 or 2 major upset out there, because that is the beauty of the NBA, where teams that does not have that much rich history or culture coming out there to dominate proceedings, coming out there to give some of the big name, the big teams a run for their money. We are yet to see that, but then I believe as the game continues to come along, we'll definitely see 1 or 2 upsets.
I definitely see 1 or 2 upsets. I mean, it would have been, it was very cagey one in the earlier hours of this morning, in the game 2 between Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, we saw that man, the Serbian international, Nikola Jokic, did so well, posting maximum points, posting maximum rebound and assists to ensure that he takes that point away from them. And though Anthony Davis was posted more points, 32 points, as against his 27, but that was not enough, because when you have better rebound and better assists, it takes you on. LeBron James also had 12 assists Then Anthony Davis had 11 rebounds as compared to 20 rebounds of Nikola Jokic, and then 10 assists. That makes it very outstanding for him. So it's 2-0 now in favor of the defending champions. And at Los Angeles Lakers, I'm wanting to have a chance because the moment it gets to 3-0, you need to have a win, otherwise you are already all set out. Can you even get a win against them?
I think it's very difficult at this point in time for LA Lakers. I think they've actually not been at the best of their game. In their first game as well, they lost their first game. This is their second game, losing their first game against the defending champion. It's a very big mountain for them to climb going to their third game, and there will be a whole lot of pressure upon the players to deliver in the third game. And you know what pressure brings in when you are expecting to at least beat a benchmark or do better. That fever, that expectation, that a high hope is reposed on you, and when you go out there in the court, it may actually be a setback for the players who be willing or wishing to overturn the tide. But this in a 2-0 down is going to go a whole long way in affecting the mental stability of the players out there, knowing fully well that they'll be fighting from all fronts to ensure that they bounce back. So it's a whole lot of pressure, and most of the players can't deal with this pressure. So it remains to be seen if they can be able to make it through. But I think for LA Lakers, it's just over for them. 2-0 down. It's been a while when we see team down by 2-0 and come back in the play-in season. It's always very difficult.
We actually saw, in the playoffs, we actually saw that, Boston Celtics did so well some time ago. He came back, they were actually winning. They want to get over 2 years. To get to win that particular one.
Yeah.
I think that if you look at like you said correctly, if you look at the way the Los Angeles Lakers have gone from the regular season, they themselves and the Golden State Warriors. I mean, it will be unexpected to get to see them pose for the title, because in the regular season they were no match at all. They were losing games. It was at the tail end of the regular season that they came up, and they started winning games, and that was how they qualified, and that through the playing. So I think that although in the playoffs any team can tell Miami Heat tried that some time ago, and so it's always funny to get to see these things play out. But my thinking is, if you never not get a team, one team that want to show that we can achieve it, and like you said, it will be surprising to get to see them get anything. It will be surprising because they are not playing a team like a minor team that qualify from the playing. They are playing a consistent team like Denver Nuggets. And when you see a player who is as consistent as Nikola Jokic, it's kind of very difficult, because for Los Angeles Lakers, they depend on the likes of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, man to beat, in this playoff, because he's been posting maximum point, 38 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. That was 24 points. I beg your pardon. We have 8 rebounds and 6 assists for him, as compared to Joel Embiid, who also played that particular one for his side. Posted 34 points, no doubt, 10 assists, but there were no match. The point difference is very slim. 104-103. We saw 101. I think we saw that particular one in the Los Angeles Lakers and Denver Nuggets. Very slim margin too. That tells us a lot to say. But the best players, I mean, just something dramatic could just help the New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, for New York Knicks, during the regular season, they did not start the regular season on a fine note. But it looked as though as the game continued to come along, they start building that momentum. They start building that strength for themselves, and of course they have one of their players out there to thank for, who has been the revelation of the season for them out there. You listen to their coach talking about him, even before that game, he said that they are expecting him to come to the party, which he actually delivered, putting up as such as about 27 points and other rebounds out there. It clearly tells you that they are in, and they are not looking at any other team out there. They just want to finish their job, get their job done and dusted on the court. That was the statement of their coach out there. But for 76ers, they are very, very surprised. Having the MVP player in their rank, talking about Joel Embiid, you expect him to also come to the party when the chips are down. This is where some of these big name players, bring their wealth of experience, to bear. In a big game like that, you expect, if it was Denver Nuggets, expect Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray to come to the party. If it were to be, teams like LA Lakers, you know, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, these are the players you can't ball. So for 76ers, whenever it look as though their key man is not, you know, fit or is not good enough, talking about Joe Embiid, the entire team struggle. And that is where you looked at them yesterday. They were more like they were on the defensive side against you know, a team that for me, I think
and they played very well. I mean, they had Trexie Maxey got the highest point, 35 points in that particular one. Joe Embiid had 10 assists, 10 rebounds as compared to Joe Hart, who had 15 rebounds. And then we also saw 10 assists from Trexie Maxey. So in terms of individual play, they had a better statistics as compared to the New York Knicks. But somehow the 3-point difference were just the marker for them. And if you look at that 3-point difference, I think they lost that particular one in the third set when they had 9 points. They scored 21 points as compared to the 30 of New York Knicks. And this game is played in New York at the Madison Square Garden. So I think that that third quarter was just the undoing for them. Although they came back blazing in the fourth quarter where they scored 25 points, but that was not enough as compared to what we would have expected them to achieve, you know, yesterday. So minor errors, you know, got them. They started brilliantly in the first quarter, brilliantly, but the third quarter was just undoing. But they tried to remedy that in the second quarter. Maybe it would have been 2-1 now, you know, but unfortunately they've lost.
Unfortunately, that is why you have to keep 100%, you know, focus in such a big game like that, because you know that any moment of sleep, any slight sleep then is going to cost you the game, which is what actually happened to them in the third quarter of that game yesterday. So I think they have themselves to blame for not, you know, living up to that expectation, especially at the third quarter.
Another game we saw is Cleveland Cavaliers versus Orlando Magic, and that one went in favor of the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are also taking things very easy. We saw their brilliance, you know, in the regular season, and it looks like they want to continue in that magic. But then they too were not taking on Indiana Pacers. That game, of course, if you know where the FAZ Forum Arena is, then you know that the Milwaukee Bucks are not coming to joke. This is going to be their second game, you know, so they are leading 1-0. Can the Pacers come into this particular one tomorrow?
No, I think I'm giving Milwaukee Bucks an edge over this one. Looking at their impressive display in their first game, I think they are in for something serious this time around. But then the table can also still turn against them if they don't take, you know, the game very serious. But then looking at their impressive record, especially in their last 15 games before the end of the, you know, regular season, they've been very, very good. So, and they have taken that form down to the play-in season. Their first game, they were very, very clinical, very good on a day. So if they continue to keep up that fine pace, I see them going through in that very one.
Dallas Mavericks will travel to play the Los Angeles Clippers at the Crypto.com Arena, and they are trailing in that particular 7-game series. So they need to do everything possible to get their hands on maybe a win to play 1-1, but can they going back home? And so when you are playing away from home, it's kind of very difficult. But Los Angeles Lakers leading against Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks, you remember, they have been very fantastic in the regular season. And so, as I said, I talked about you know, anything happening, but maybe they can use something to change the down, maybe get a 1-1 scoreline as they go back to Dallas. Yeah,
it's very, very possible. Looking at what Mavericks did within during the regular season, I think if they continue in that fine form of what we saw them do in the regular season, possibly they can also be there, but it's going to be a very, very difficult one for them because they'll be facing coming up against a very strong side and a very angry side as well, who lost their first game. So we expect them to get you know, a victory in this second game, and that is going to be against you know, Dallas Mavericks. So Mavericks need to be at their A game if they want to get something out of this game. They need to focus 100% and put in all that they have to ensure that they come out victorious in that very one. If not, like I said earlier, the table can still turn against them if they don't take it serious.
Table can still turn against them, they do not take it serious. And let's move now to some football matters. Let's start with the Nigeria Premier Football League. Reviews of games played March the 31st. Reaction continues to 3 as Rivers United technical as manager Stanley Azonda Egoma believed that their game against Rangers was a good advertisement for the MPFL.
Well, you know, when you get to win a game here in NPFL and get all 3 points, especially at home, it gives you that confidence to talk tough, you know. This is what it means. Of course, he won the game 2-0, courtesy of the goal that came in from the boot of Deputy Echeta. And Alex Oyowa, who for me has been very, very, you know, clinical in front of the goals. In the last 4 games that we played so far, I think the strikers have been living up to expectation. Contrary to what we see at the beginning of the season where they were firing blanks. So for me, I think it's a good one for Rivers United after their disappointing out in the Confederation Cup where they got eliminated by USM Orjas. Coming back home right now, I think they have no other thing to focus on than the Nigerian Premier Football League to see if they can be able to finish in a very respected position at the end of the season, because where they find themselves right now is not a place deserving of a team such as Rivers United. Though we want to say they still have 6 outstanding games to play, but then they still need to work very hard to ensure they pick maximum point in some of these outstanding games. Beating the league leader 2-0, I think is a morale booster for them, because Enugu Rangers have been very, very good so far this season. For any team to get to beat Rangers, FC, then I think that team has something in them that we need to watch out. Good one for them. Let's hope that they can continue, with this fine form to make sure they pick the maximum point in the remaining games so that they will finish in a very respectable position.
Finish in a respectable position. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, will witness another readjustment of the fixture as the current season reaches crucial stage. According to the NPFL, there will be a pause in the season after March 34 to allow Rivers United to play their outstanding matches. Rivers have a backlog of outstanding matches to be executed following their involvement in the CAF Confederation Cup, where they were eliminated in the quarterfinals by defending champion USM Orjas of Algeria. Now, I'm just wondering, maybe I don't know how the period of spacing these games will be played. Play on Sunday, play on Tuesday, play on Thursday, play on Saturday. I do not know, but well, a lot of people would think that this is good for Rivers United. Well, how good will it be? Because a lot of movement also have to take place, and that's for me. That's why it's a little bit dicey, because you cannot remove the home and away impact of these games.
Yeah, definitely. Out of those 6 outstanding games, I think 4 they will be playing 4 away from home. It's only 2 that they will be playing at home, and that makes it even more difficult for Rivers United, because we know how difficult it is for you to go out, away from home and get 3 maximum points. Though we've seen some teams done that so far this season because of the little improvement we've seen in the level of officiating in the league. So, but then I think in that 4 away games, the Rivers United, if they can get 2 wins out of that 4, it would be a good one for them. But then it's still a very, very tall mountain for them to climb. But one thing is very striking, and it's good for the development of the league, that they, chairman of clubs association, talking about the NPFL clubs here, have come and they reach a consensus with the league body that they are going to also stand down and adhere to the league management for the fact that they want to have a break so that they allow Rivers United to play some of their outstanding games. I think such an understanding among the league management and the club chairman is a very, very nice one. You listen to Goswin Nahena, who is the secretary of the chairman club association, talking about that the other day, where he said that they've actually reached an agreement with the league body to ensure that they postpone some of the games. That they stand down in some of the games and allow Rivers United to play their remaining outstanding games. I think such a collaboration between the club chairman and the league body is also a good one.
Such collaboration between the chairman and the league body, very lovely one. And of course, the NFF are also talking tough. Nigerian Football yesterday announced the imminence of a football award that will, take place during the era of Amaju Mervin Pinnick. We saw the NFF hosting football award, but in recent time I have not seen that. The NFF award, where a lot of dignitaries, we used to see Infantino come down to be part of that award. The CAF president, not Musepe. But we've seen that, but in recent time I haven't seen that. That award used to be very glorious, but I don't know what has happened. But it looks like the federation want to start a new form of award altogether.
Yeah, I think Musa Gusau is trying to reinvent that sparkle, that shine of what keeps the sportsmen and women very happy and keep them very fulfilled, because some of these individual awards goes a whole long way to boost the confidence of some of the players who did pretty well out there. It's a good one if they can reinvent this idea, because it encourages players out there to also give out their best. It's a nice one. So if they can continue with it, I also see that they are looking in other aspect of trying to get sponsorship as well from that angle, because definitely many brands as well want to also put their money in and sell their goods and services through that medium, and it will be a nice one to generate money for the NFF as well.
And our last story this morning on Sports Talk, as we wrap up conversation here, is to the Serie A and some cherry news. If you are a fan of the Milans, and this time it's in San Siro, one part of Milan. Inter looks like a team that have just done it once again. One win over Milan. They have won the Serie A yesterday, beating their neighbors in the same stadium, shared by the two sides. 2-1 it ended, and that created an unassailable lead at the top of the league with their 6th straight derby victory. This is very lovely if you're a fan of Milan, and to all who, of course, expected. It's long overdue. We just expected that, okay, it's just a matter of time. But with this now, one would have expected Milan, to be more attractive, maybe get a point. But that never happened, because we saw Inter Milan blazing on, getting those goals. And Simone Inzaghi should be very happy this morning, winning his first league of his managerial career.
It's a good one for Inter Milan. I think the city of Milan is very, very happy right now. They are trying to reenact that, the glory days of the Milans, where they actually dominate proceedings. Then, when you talk about the Milan derby, it's likened to the El Clasico in Spain because of the rich history that this club shares, and centered around the heartbeat of the town. It's always very, very good, watching Milan derby. And I think the most happiest of it all is that we are seeing something very different from the Italian Serie A. Away from the past, where we see Juventus dominating the Italian Serie A, winning it back to back, making it look more like a farmers league. But in the last couple of, let's say, 3 years down the line, we've seen a different winner. We've seen, Napoli, a team such as Napoli, after 3 years, coming to break that jinx. We've seen Inter Milan as well, in the mix as well, giving Juventus a run for their money. So I think this is the beauty of the Italian Serie A, where we begin to see teams, jostling for the title, and not just one team, winning it every season in, season out. We saw Juventus did that in the past. But for me, I think it has been very, very deserving of Inter Milan. They've been on the top of their game. I must not also forget one man who has been very, very instrumental, talking about the Argentine, Lautaro Martinez, who has been firing from all cylinders. I think Milan, looking at what they've achieved or what they've done so far this season, they truly deserve to be crowned champion. With 5 games to spare, they've won the league. I say big congratulations to Milan. But then that game was also marred with a lot of controversies, especially at the 8th, and he produced as much as 3 red cards. That is to tell you the fierce nature of the derby, and that is what derby is all about. So it's a good one for them.
A good one for them. And the next question now will be the contenders, the European contenders. And of course, if you look at the margin, everywhere, the congratulations is just there, even on social media. Yeah. When you open the Serie A, you get to see congratulations towards Milan. And that's the beauty of it. Same way we celebrate. So, out of the 5 top leagues, we're not sure of the Bundesliga. Yeah. We're not sure of the Serie A. But the expectations still lie low. 2 more matches win, and anything happens to Barca, Real Madrid might be declared winners. So it continues in the League One. PSG looks like runaway leaders already, and then you come back to the English Premier League, where the title might just get to the last day of the season. But